We'll expect him to be traded by deadline, but with how things are happening with his body, he might have to wait till the end of the year. I feel like teams, especially the teams that he wants to go to, don't want to jump ship or take a chance right away. Because even though you become a Knick, I don't want to trade for Giannis and have to still make another move or two to be in contention. I want to trade for Giannis and be right in contention right away.
That's Danny Green from inside the green room, three-time NBA champion, NCAA champion, friend. Danny Green, man, we appreciate your time. Let's dig into that, okay, because you were just talking about Giannis, and this has been a heated, raging thing. Like, I feel like everybody playing 2K, right? We all want to trade Giannis at this point.
Yeah, everybody's
to your point,
GM
you stand
mode.
by it, right? Like, right, exactly. So are the Knicks better off standing pat this season in your mind than they would be trading for Giannis?
That's crazy to say. Like, it's always a good idea to get a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, I feel like you're always better off with him. But I think a lot of the fans there, and then, like I said, and everybody else that's not even in New York, want to see how this iteration of this group plays out before this, before it's all. They don't want to jump ship from this group. They like the chemistry. They like what Mike Brown's got going on. They don't want to change too much. But Giannis is always a good idea. He's always adding value. I wouldn't say they're better off, but I do think they want to see how the season goes before they make a big change like that. Again, but he might not be available at that time. So if you get an opportunity to get somebody like Giannis, I think you got to go for it.
So if it's not the Knicks, have you been able to talk yourself into any team that should take the swing and make the trade for Giannis?
Again, any team should. If I'm Giannis, I'm looking where I can extend my career and will play the longest and also win. He should really be taken in San Antonio to consideration. If he's alongside Wemby and company, they have a lot of pieces and picks to be able to do it. I know Miami is one of the teams that's looking to get him. It's a good city where, kind of fair on the state taxes. So you're going to save more of your money there. And it's a major market. I know Toronto is another good city for him that would fit. And, some people play with the idea, which I would hate to see this, but that could do it. I mean, OKC could do it. They have everybody's picks. They have a lot of pieces. It would make them an unbelievable super team, but nobody wants to see the Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors thing all over again. So yeah, I would think for him, like, to make his own or have his own path and not just jump on a championship team, he should be considering like San Antonio, Miami, Toronto. Like, those three teams could be. And he also, I mean, Detroit, him and Cade Cunningham could be a nice little mix if they can keep Jalen Duren. So there's a couple of teams that are out there that could get him that makes sense, but he should be really considering over there in Texas.
Okay, so talk to me from your mindset about the league as a whole, because December 15th is a big day where a lot of names could start to get traded. What I'm trying to figure out is, knowing that you bring somebody in, you're trying to win a championship this year. How active do you think the league will actually be going up to the trade deadline this year, given that there are a bunch of teams in contention and a bunch of big names?
Very active. It seems like every year the summers get more and more active, the trade line gets more and more active because, well, as it stands, everybody's very far behind OKC. If you want to be in that contention or want to be in talks or in the conversation to be able to challenge an OKC, you got to have a really good team. So I'd assume a lot of teams will be trying to make moves, especially the fact that the teams that were expected to do good aren't where they're at. And even the teams that are doing good, they're still probably one piece away from being in that contention conversation. So you look at a team like Sacramento, where things are not going good at all. In New Orleans, things aren't. But even the teams that are doing good, like Toronto, might be able to make a move. Detroit might. I don't know if Houston's making any more moves, but Minnesota, like even Phoenix. So they're playing well, but there's teams like that are going to be looking to make a move or two to put themselves either building up for the future or to put themselves in contention conversation right now.
One of the first dominoes to fall, likely around that December 15th date, is Anthony Davis. And we heard Shams talk about the Pistons, the Raptors, the Hawks as potential landing spots for AD. Where do you think AD should end up?
All these teams are great. Again, so Toronto has a lot to offer. They can package to get him. The team that I want to see him go to, I don't think they have enough to make it work that Dallas would want in return. But I would love to see him partner up with somebody else. And of course, the first is first. I want to see him healthy. I want him, playing good basketball, happy, in his body in good shape, to where we can see Anthony Davis play for a full 82-game season, or at least 70, 75 games, and then be healthy for the playoffs. But I mentioned that Minnesota team. I would love to see him with Anthony Edwards try to team up in the West with him and Julius Randle. He's played with I don't know if he's played with Julius before. They know each other pretty well. He's played with a big before. He likes that big situation where he's played with DeMarcus Cousins. He's played with Dwight Howard, and then of course he went to Dallas because it made sense for him with Lively and Gafford. Like he doesn't want to play the center position. But if he can get there with Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, I think it makes them a very dangerous, dynamic team. But again, I don't think Dallas is going to want a Rudy Gobert in return. They're going to want youth. They're going to want picks and pieces. I just don't see that happening. But Toronto has a lot to package. Detroit would be a good move. Said if he can stay healthy, if they can keep Cade and Jalen, and Atlanta has a lot of pieces that they can move. But they're also a team that's kind of rebuilding. So I don't know if it makes sense for him to go there. Like he has a 2-3 year window of where he's going to be still in his prime, at his peak. And if you're in rebuild mode, it's not smart to get. You want to be a win now team. If you want to insert an Anthony Davis into your group.
Knowing what you know, though, I will put you on the spot. If you were the GM of a team and you used a lot of ifs there, if he's healthy, if you had to give up future resources to acquire Anthony Davis just with what we know right now, would you?
Ooh, put me on the spot. You are putting me on the spot, Fitz. AD's my guy, man. I love him to death. It depends on what I had to give up. If I didn't have to give up a lot, obviously negotiation. And for me, it's like, we're not sure how great his body's going to be. So if that's the case, like I'm trying to give up at least a third or a fourth less of what they would want. But honestly speaking, it depends on who I am. I don't know if I take the risk right now in the middle of the season to do that. I feel like I would take that risk off-season move, see what my group can do during this regular season. But I wouldn't take that risk right now during the season, no.
All right, let's look at the Clippers because it just feels like bad story after bad story. It's a bad on the court product. We got some extracurriculars off the court as well. It's been a brutal season so far for the Clippers. So who among their stars do you think could get dealt, and what are some potential landing spots as well?
I know they said that they were planning on keeping James and Kawhi, but if I'm them, I'm trading everybody. Like I'm jumping ship. I'm letting everybody go and getting as much value as I can get back, whether it's picks, pieces, and starting over and going young. I think they're all valuable. I think they're all very good. I just don't think right now they're not fitting well, and any of them are happy to be there right now. I don't think anybody's happy to be a Clipper and in that building or in that jersey right now. But again, I think they're keeping James and Kawhi and everybody else. I think is up for grabs. But Brook Lopez is a piece that somebody could use as a great backup. John Collins is another piece. Derek Jones Jr. is a piece. They have a couple other guys that are pretty solid that teams could use. So I could picture Kawhi back in Toronto or something like that, or I could picture James back in Houston. Who knows where they can go? But some teams could use a point guard like James. Some teams could use a really good wing like Kawhi, but I don't think they're giving those guys up. Everybody else, it's really. I'd have to really sit down and put in the GM hat to see where they would fit best and help a group.
Yeah, Dan, we're just trying to make you the GM of a bunch of teams. That's all. Trying to help
Of everyone.
You already got 32 jobs. We're just giving you more.
Right.
All right. So how about this one? I know you had a brief stint in Memphis. You've been around Ja.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do right now if you're Memphis? How would you handle Ja? Would you trade him? Would you keep him? What's his value?
It's tough. I mean, he's a very talented player. He's very good, but his value is not showing that because of the injuries and because of the off the court situations and issues. So it's hard to get in return what you want for him. But I think the world of Ja as a player. I think he can, do a lot of things for a franchise. He can turn a franchise around. But yeah, if I'm Memphis, it's a decision. It seems like him and the coaching staff aren't getting along, and I don't think you want to go through another coaching staff. My opinion, I think they made a mistake with letting go Taylor, and that coaching staff, and this is why Ja's kind of pushing back. But I think you have to move him. I think I won't say ties are severed, but he's not in a good space, and I just don't see it getting back. And he seems like a guy that's pretty stuck in his ways. So once you kind of rub him the wrong way, I just don't see him getting back on his good side. So I think you try to move him and get as much back. And this is a group that they've been trying to get back to where they were for 3 years now. you need to start over, start off young. You still have young pieces. You can start fresh. You can get some really good things in return for him. And if that's the case, you can go move Jaren Jackson Jr. as well, who is up for a huge extension. You can probably save yourself some money because they're getting first team, all NBA, all defensive team, or defensive player of the year, where they're going to get these huge extensions. Where if they go somewhere else, they probably won't get it because it's not their team, unless the bird rights. A lot of the contractual stuff. But yeah, if you're gonna move Ja, you probably move Jaren, and then you probably start off really young. You keep Zach Edey, and you go with that group and try to see what you can build from that. Moving forward with the draft capital.
All right, I'm going to ask you to go right back into the GM chair. When we talk
Okay.
about moving Ja out of Memphis, it's probably a difficult one to swallow for a lot of people in the Grizzlies
hmm
organization. Understanding Ja is a certified superstar in the league. He puts butts in seats. I'll add
hmm
LaMelo and Charlotte into that conversation as well. When you are ultimately the person that has to decide, do we want to hold on to a guy who has maybe had some question marks or move on from him? How do you weigh that of, do we have to go in a different direction versus we have to sell tickets and this guy does that?
You can do both, but eventually, if you're losing, you're not selling tickets, so it doesn't matter.
Fair.
Winning ultimately sells tickets. So I get it. It's hard to let go of a franchise guy, but if your franchise guy is not showing up, or he's injured, or he's not happy and not playing well, you got to just you got to call, take it for what it is. It's a loss. A loss is a loss, and you could find a way to get some type of wins in the loss, and that's recouping something in return. Whether it's a lot of draft picks, getting somebody like, if you can get AJ Debinsa in the draft, or Cameron Boozer or Darren Peterson, like those guys that are coming out, would help sell tickets. Or if you made a trade, like Miami's in talks with trying to get him possibly, which you can get some youth back. You can also, I did some, actually with this one, I did some GM myself. I put it in the machine with Toronto. You put him and KC in a package, and you get back like a RJ Barrett and a Quickly. You still got youth, and you get picks. If you're winning games, you're gonna get people in seats. There's not much, not to disrespect Memphis, but Memphis loves their team because there's not like a bunch of other things, to a bunch of events that's happening there. Like, they love their Grizzlies, and this is what they have, so they're gonna support regardless. And if you're winning, they're definitely gonna support.
You spent a little time in Philly, obviously. We're getting the loud roars at this point about Embiid, especially they've gotten so guard heavy, and Embiid doesn't look like
Yeah.
himself. It's hard to say this for a player of Embiid's status, but is he washed? Does he have anything left in the tank to you?
Oh man, the hot seat. All my ex teammates, all my ex teams. No, I think Joel is it's more of a mental thing with him. I don't think he's washed. It's going to take him some time. He's on minute restriction, but he is very much, I said this on other platforms, he's very much taking a back seat, and which is okay. Like, it's okay to defer to Tyrese, Maxey, but everybody else, no. Like, you got to find a way to get back to yourself and be aggressive. Like, he was doing a lot of DHOs. He shot 21 shots the other day that I watched, but a lot of them didn't look like he wanted to shoot them. Like, he didn't have a good night, so it was off night, and he shot a couple of threes, a couple of mid ranges. But he's got to be more aggressive. He's trying to just draw fouls, get back in shape, play the game, get your body right. He's not past his prime. Like, he's still young enough to give you good 2 or 3 years. For him, is more mental, and it's going to take time. So I don't think he's washed. But if he doesn't get right mentally, Philly was one of the teams I thought was a sleeper, and is a team you don't want to face in the playoffs. And it could be one of they could sneak and get out of the East somehow, or get to the Eastern Conference Finals. If he's not that, then they're nowhere near. They're a first round exit, or if that, So he's got to get right for them to be a threat.
You guys should check out
Urban-
Inside the Green Room. That's the podcast hanging out. Danny, I'll tell you,
Appreciate it.
I've said this.
You had a
million times,
question?
man.
Sorry,
Just sit-
sorry, I don't know.
sit- no,
She had.
No,
did you have
well,
another
good. I'll
question?
let you go.
No, go ahead. If you have another one, I thought you
Well,
got something cooking.
Well,
ahead.
I was cooking a little bit. We're looking
Okay.
ahead to Wemby's comeback. We've seen some
Okay,
legends
yeah.
of the game wear a Spurs uniform. Tim Duncan, Danny Green. What's it going to take for Victor Wembanyama to be the most elite player to ever wear a Spurs uniform?
Just time. This kid is trending in the right direction. He loves the game. He cares. His body's filling out. He's still so young and youthful. If he stays healthy in time, it's only a matter of time. He's going to be defensive player of the year multiple years. He's developing an offensive package, and they're getting a lot of pieces around him. Don't let them mess around and get Giannis. But he's got Dylan Harper. He's got De'Aaron Fox. He's got Vassell, Champagnie. He's got Harrison Barnes. He's got so many guys. Jeremy Sohan. Cornette behind him. Like, they got good pieces in depth. So they're doing a great job, what they've done for decades now, the Spurs organization, finding hidden gems in the right places and building and developing their players. This is going to be the team to challenge OKC for the next 10 years. That's my prediction.
Every time we see him on TV, he makes us smarter. That's what he does. Danny Green. Check out Inside the Green Room, brother. Appreciate your time. Congratulations.
I appreciate you guys.
The family.
Thank you, man. Fitz, it's always good to see you, man.